Okay, so here we are in the Lancefield Park. This is the Lancefield Skate Park. What you see in front of him is a Diprotodon, or a sculpture of one anyway. So, what I have seen is that we have an oval in a 1900s or 1800s. They actually found fossils in this locality. Now, where the fossils actually are, I'm not too sure, but the last excavation, as far as I know, is 2005. Okay, we do have a lot of vacant areas in which they could excavate if they wanted to. Obviously, they're not going to rip up the skate park. The toilet's like 100 years old. God, it's so old. Got a pavilion. It wouldn't be excavating in the oval itself, because it's specially designed. It costs a lot of money to make. And then we've got a guy going around something at the back of his car. It's like scouring the actual. So it's probably a training for horses. Training area, and he's smoothing it out. Okay, so what fossils do they find here? They find the giant kangaroo. I think it's Macropodus gigantus. No, Titanus. Something like that anyway, I don't know. Can't remember the species name. Diprotodon, Genornis, so the giant bird. Then we have probably a lot of other animals. And this looks like an area for training of horses. So if they were going to excavate somewhere, they could probably excavate here, which is pretty flat. Now what habitat would this have been for the actual fossils to have been buried? Well, it's classed as a swamp. So this is like a water hole, and there are quite a few water holes around here that are used for agricultural land. Obviously the pines would not have been there, neither would the oaks. And now there's various theories as to what the depositional environment was like. One of them, probably the most plausible one, is a drought environment, and this was one of the last watercourses. And the various places in which the fossils have been deposited, some have been reworked apparently, so they've shown this articulation. Only the larger bones have actually been preserved, and also they have shown sign of water working. So they are all aligned in a certain elongation, so they would have been pointing downstream. They would have shown sign of rounding on hard points, and probably also cracking from rocks hitting it as well. And other areas have shown no signs of reworking, so they're probably articulated, so all the skeleton fragments are actually together. Although, as far as I know, none of the actual skeletons are articulated, so there's no full skeletons there. That could be a sign of scavenging, some type of dispersal. So they probably have been reworked to some degree. Now, there is a... what the hell is this? So, jump off your bike. So it's a bike ramp. Anyway, so basically the charcoal underneath was dated to 26,000 years. The bones have been dated to 30 to 60,000 years, so we're not too sure on the actual age. So if that's the case and the bones are on top of the charcoal, then that's evidence for them being reworked. And basically I need to read more information about the actual deposition. So here's a little watercourse. Obviously it's more modern. These features are more modern, but obviously this watercourse is probably quite old. Now, on top of it, we have evidence of human habitation. So we've got stone tools, chopping, but I don't think there's any evidence, or the scientists have not found any evidence of chop marks or anything on the bones. And some of the Aboriginal artifacts have been reworked into the actual bone deposits itself. So that's also could be evidence of actual water deposition. But anyway, this is the actual site. Now, you're going to find anywhere where they've actually excavated? No, they would have filled it in after the excavation. And there are no signs apart from that Diprotodon. But you can find some information on the internet about the actual site. You can see around the place we have housing. So really, towards the east there is a farmland, in which you can quite clearly see the actual large lake. So that could also be another place in which the actual deposits might contain bones. Okay, so all this is artificial. This looks like gravel. So what would be, how would they have been buried? So I would say a lot of it is probably windblown aeolian sands, silts and clays. Probably more likely just clays and silts most of the time, because of the low energy environment. Would have been blowing in during drought regions, and during the actual wet regions would have been also probably just silts and most likely just clays, because of the low energy environment of the water. So topsoil, this looks like, yeah, that's definitely clays. So you have a lot of clays here. And if you dig down probably 2 to 3 meters, you'll probably reach bone beds itself, if there is any bone beds in this location. So anyway, it's Lancefield Park. It's heavily altered, and also if you like sports, you come here. If you like walking your dog, you come here. If you like peace and quiet, probably don't come here. It's not that peaceful and quiet. There's actually a lot of nature reserves around. Anyway, hooroo.